It's a continuation of yesterday's meeting, and just so that you don't ask me tomorrow, we're going to be meeting every day until the convention so that we put things together. And basically today we looked at the convention subcommittee, and we collected some reports from some of the committees, hoping that tomorrow we'll decide on next steps to take.
One of the major
Nothing much happened today.
One of the major things that will affect this convention, sir, is the zoning. And yesterday the committee submitted this report. Have you been able to discuss on this?
The report has been adopted, so it will be released to you any moment now. The zoning formula. Yeah, it will be released. Just wait, they will release it to you.
And how soon do we expect the next meeting? Because one of the reasons...
Hopefully next week. Yeah. In fact, next week.
Well, I did say we're coming back to talk about the issues within the APC. You heard the INEC National Commissioner there saying that they have nothing against the leadership. They're just saying, you know, the chairman whom they know and the secretary whose signature they have within their own offices should be the people writing to inform them or notify them about not just a convention, any meeting or any executive committee meeting. Anything at all that concerns the party, that letter should always carry the signature of the chairman and the secretary, which they already have in their custody. So how is this affecting the APC now that we understand that the erstwhile chairman, that's Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State, will now be the one conducting the convention for March 26. I have with me here this morning a gentleman, Matthias Omikba, who is a member APC Young Stakeholders and member APC Rebirth Movement. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Thank you for having me, Maokwe.
Well, last week it looked like your group was, I don't know, will I say celebrating somewhat, and it looks like this week you're back to status quo. How is your own, will I say, group within the APC receiving the news that Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State will be conducting the convention?
Okay, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. APC Young Stakeholders, APC Rebirth Movement was not actually celebrating. What we stand for has been to do the correct thing, to hold those in party position to live to their responsibility in doing what is right. We've been talking about convention, postponement and postponement. We have been for that we must adhere to it. We must give hope to the people that if we say something, we must live by it and do it. So that's what we are calling for, and that's what we're asking for. Anybody, if it's, we're not against Mai Mala Buni, but we are against anybody who will stall the process of the party constitutionality in doing what is right and by holding our national convention.
Well, you certainly had your fears about how he was going about conducting the national convention. I think your colleague had been here a few times to talk about his, you know, the fears of your own group within the APC about how this convention had been postponed a few times, and it does look like even the March 26th date was looking a bit shaky. And it looked like you were justified with the movements that happened last week and the news that perhaps was Governor Bello, Abubakar Bello, who was going to be conducting the convention. That's what I meant by you were celebrating, because your colleague was here shortly after that happened, and it seemed like, oh, everyone else in the party had seen the light. And it did look like you had lost some sort of confidence in the governor of Yobe State to be able to successfully conduct a convention come March the 26th. But now that it looks like you know, legality is holding back a change in leadership within the caretaker committee. How is your faction? I mean, are you confident? I don't want to call you a faction. You're a group within the APC. Yeah. How confident are you that this convention is going to go according to plan?
Okay. you must agree with me here that as soon as the caretaker chairman, May Malabuni, transmitted the letter of acting caretaker chairman to Governor Sani Bello.
Did he really transmit a letter? Because
yes, he did.
There were talks that that letter was not real. The secretary said there was no such thing.
No. They can't deny that. There was a letter because he was embarking on a medical trip. It's not the first time Sani Bello is acting on behalf of Governor May Malabuni. It's not the first time. For that, there is no ambiguity in it. Okay, what you would agree with me that as soon as that letter was transmitted and Sani Bello was was engaged to act, you could see life. Convention committees, subcommittees, even now, just on Friday or by the weekend, the subcommittee on the venue, going to the venue, you could see that the purpose, living by what Mr. President have asked for, that the date of 26 is sacrosanct, that convention must be held. You could see that there's life into it, and that's what we are calling for. We don't want any shenanigans whereby somebody is bringing up one flimsy excuse not to hold the National Convention. We are overdue for the National Convention. We want the National Convention to hold so that we can move the party forward. We don't want anybody to derail this party from the lofty ideas that the founding fathers have built in putting this party together. And that's what we stand for. And that's what we will be like a watchdog. We will not allow it because we put in our sweat, we put in our resources to keep this party afloat like this. We are the infanteries. We are the field people. We are the one who goes to field to deliver election for this party. So why wouldn't we partake in making sure that this party stays alive? We will do anything that it takes to keep this party alive. Anybody will hold them to their responsibility to make sure that this National Convention comes to reality. On
that same Friday, the president was said to have written a letter to, I don't know who he was writing to now, to all stakeholders within the APC, warning everyone, yes, he asked for order in the APC. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes,
statement was signed by his senior special assistant, Mr. Garba Shehu, talking about how they should take lessons from the APC, from the once powerful main opposition People's Democratic Party. He says they're entitled to their own share of dissent and intra-party discord. These are common in all parties, but parties splintered by competing egos destined themselves to the worst possible fate. Why do you think it was important for this, for the president to write this letter to the APC?
Maokwe, you must understand the person of Mr. President, and you must know that the president is loved. He's right to admonish the party at this time because a lot of shenanigans and blocks building taking place within the party. And it is important that Mr. President comes out to admonish us, to make all of us sit up, to know that power it's not forever. If you do the right thing and you are in the good books of the people, then the people would repose that confidence in you to elect you. But APC must realize that we cannot take Nigerians for granted and at the same time do what is needful. I thank Mr. President for coming out to admonish. He is well respected. I only pray that Mr. President will do more. Do more in the sense that Mr. President should come out clearly and boldly because people love and respect him. They will honor him. If Mr. President comes out clearly more on party issues as the leader he is, you can imagine, Maokwe, that state governors would anoint, work for, appoint whoever they want in the states. Lots of privileges given to them. But when it comes to the national level, they also want to do everything. We don't want that. We want it to be more democratic. We want it to be more acceptable by the people. The only way that APC can continue to retain power is to do what the people want. And at any time, the majority of the party stakeholders.
Okay, well, it will be interesting to know how this is being received within the party. I mean, that's the president admonition, because that somewhat, you know, went into admonishing the press as well. Admonishing the press as well, and there were questions as to whether we weren't just reporting what we see within the party of the APC. But I'm wondering now, I mean, as you head into the convention come March 26, with all that is going on, with all that has happened, how confident are you that what will come out of that convention will be something that will be acceptable to all, given the background of where your party is currently coming from?
There's always going to be divergent views in political parties as big as APC. But the most important thing is when things are done to accord majority what they want, then every other views can be collapsed into one. I am confident that going forward in this convention, that the forthcoming convention of APC, that the party would pull together, will listen to our national leader, Mr. President, as long as he comes out clearly to tell us the direction and purpose where he wants to take this party.
Well, so right now you have no fear, because there are fears that the caretaker chairman wanted to, you know, make himself, will I say, lifelong, not lifelong, but, you know, wanted to retain the office as chairman of the party, and he wanted to stay there perpetually. Do you used to exercise such fears?
You know, when a child is born by the fire and he sees the fire, whether the fire is going to burn him or not, there is always going to be that fear. Yes, we have fears, but the fears have been adequately put into check by the mandate that the president has come out to usher, that 26 is sacrosanct. We believe him and we hold him to that. And the action that the acting caretaker chairman, Governor Sani Bello, has put in place, it looks more real. And I believe when the caretaker chairman comes back from his medical trip, he would adhere and then keep to the same direction that the party has flowed into by this time.
Do you think that what has happened has caused bad blood? I mean, amongst members of the caretaker committee, the rift that could possibly have come out of a situation of uncertainty from last week, how do you think is going to affect the committee moving forward?
It could, okay? But it will amaze you how politicians can rise up and quickly settle things.
Well, I don't know. We look forward to what will happen within the ranks of the APC come March 26th. But this emergency NEC meeting now that has been put in jeopardy, INEC refusing the letter, how did that come to you?
Well, if we are to go by our party constitution and also by the Electoral Act, I don't think the party has contravened anything in calling for its NEC meeting. And the same section, I listened earlier to the INEC, the National Commissioner. I listened to him, but he didn't quote a particular section.
He did, section 82.
Yeah, I'm coming. You don't take something by just one subsection, one line, and then that's it. There are other things. There is a subsection 82, subsection 2 there that speaks about that INEC may use the word may witness meeting convention of political parties, okay? But the clause there is, if you are going to change leadership, if you are going to tinker with the positions of people, is the NEC meeting APC calling for, is it to tinker?
No.
You cannot. So he cannot. You cannot just sit here.
Yes.
You cannot just sit here and say, "Oh, they are going to tinker." But however, our party constitution does something. There could be a NEC meeting, and there could be a vote of no confidence. But it doesn't mean they had planned it beforehand.
So while that can happen, what INEC is saying is that they will not be able to come to observe it because it is not duly, the letter which was inviting them was not duly signed by the chairman who they recognize and the secretary whom they also recognize as well, that they need those two signatures on a letter inviting them to anything that the party is doing.
Yeah, and I'm saying, I can't quote precisely the section of my party constitution, but once a two-thirds of the working committee members sign that they want a NEC, then a NEC would hold. That's my party constitution. Okay? And at the same time, I'm saying it is an emergency meeting. You see, laws are made and they are going to be tested. Okay? The Electoral Act, as amended, the current one, says 21 days, okay? But it doesn't talk about emergency meetings. But this is an emergency meeting, which the party has the right to call, but there's a section that covers it, even in that Electoral Act, and say, INEC may, I might not be able to quote it verbatim, but it talks about that section, subsection 2, say, the commission may, with or without prior notice to political parties, attend, monitor such meetings and conventions. It's there. I didn't craft this.
Well, yes, you didn't craft it, but you're also not... Anyways, I think that it's not... We might not need to stretch it right now. I think that if the APC feels strongly about it enough, perhaps they might go and challenge it if they feel strongly about it. But now that the erstwhile chairman, we understand Governor Mai Mala Buni will be conducting the convention, and who knows, perhaps this NEC meeting or calling for the NEC meeting, perhaps that might not be necessary anymore. Is that correct?
Let me put it this way, Maokpe. No individual is above the collective interest and above the party. The direction the party and the organ, the NEC, supersede any other organ apart from the National Convention. So, the decision that NEC takes will become binding on all parties because NEC is above Working Committee and the CECC.
Okay, we'll see how that eventually is translated, because, you know, there's an electoral act which guides the conduct of activities and affairs within political parties. But I'm sure that there will be certainly, definitely different perspective to the point of view which you have given. But we have to thank you so much for coming on this morning. Matthias Ominkpa is a member of the All Progressives Congress Youth Stakeholders and also a member of the APC Rebirth Movement. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily this morning.
Once again, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, we'll take a break this morning and we'll be talking about something that certainly concerns you, the consumer. Find out in a moment. Please stay with us.